Ultraman Rosso and Blue premiered today as the 30th in the Ultraman franchise, so we want to go straight into episode 1 and let you know what we think of the first episode. Yeah, so let's talk about the first one, right, which is the music. We felt that the music was very upbeat, very pop, very anime-like. It is very different from the previous Ultraman franchise that we've seen, where the music is a little bit more heavy, a bit more metal, a lot more heavy guitars, but this time around the guitars and the bass were all gone, right? This is basically a very pop heavy anime like family friendly opening beat, pretty much somewhat like Ultraman G. Yeah, now let's talk about the actors. Now I really like both Yuya Hirata, who plays Katsumi Minato, and also Ryosuke Koike, who portrays Isami Minato. They actually have very good on-screen chemistry, and I really like these two guys as the main lead character. Yeah, Kasumi plays a very doting, caring older brother who's always looking out for his younger brother, while Isami Minato is a playful, lazy, I want to do what I want to do kind of a brother. So there was a lot of great comedy timing as well, and I think their both action sequence in episode 1 was really rigorous. I'm looking forward to a lot more to these two guys in this series. Now let's talk about the pace. I think episode 1, for an episode 1, the pace was really quick. Yeah. For example, in the scene where both Kasumi and Isami were both trapped and they were almost gonna die when Black King fired at them, and there was no Ultra Brother to explain to them, hey, this is what's happening to you, this is where you are, this is how you transform into Ultraman, this is how you use your powers. There was pretty much nothing. Yeah, the entire sequence was really the two brothers trying to figure out what to do with themselves, because there were henshin device just right in front of them. There was no one explaining to them, and they had to figure out everything for themselves. So that kind of explained the next thing which I want to talk about was the henshin sequence. Yeah, the henshin sequence in episode 1 was insanely long. There was just like minutes on end where we just see them transforming back and forth using the device, using which of course the root crystal and the root gyro. So we felt like, wow, that was one long plug for a commercial to sell the merchandise, which I thought was fine. But if you think about this and you compare to the previous Ultraman series, you probably don't remember a henshin sequence this long. This is one of the longest henshin sequences that we remember. Yeah. Now let's talk about the henshin device. We love the show, but we have very mixed feeling with the henshin device. Yeah. So the henshin device is the crystal, what they call root crystal, and of course you plug the root crystal into the root gyro. We felt that the henshin device is very big. It's a little bit too big compared to all the previous henshin devices that we've seen before in the Ultraman series. I mean, so much so that we think that this henshin device is too much like a Kamen Rider kind of a henshin device that you will see in that franchise, not in Ultraman franchise. So this is something that's actually very new for Ultraman. Yeah. So let us know what you guys think. I think some of you guys have probably already seen the review from the Japanese YouTubers, because they would have gotten the merchandise first. But as you can see here from the video, in the hands of an adult, man, that henshin device is huge. Yeah. So what's our verdict? My verdict is, number one, we really like the show. I think that the show is going to go with a tone of family friendly, a lot of funny comedic moments. For example, remember that the sequence where both Kasumi and Isami was talking to each other, and they were like, hey, what should we do? How do we use our powers? And all this while, Black King, the kaiju, was just right behind them, and they didn't realize it. So there was a lot of these comedic timings that we expect is going to be the tone moving forward for the show. And of course, in terms of action, episode 1 was there's a lot of actions between the two brothers fighting the Black King. Yeah, so we thought, hey, this is going to be an interesting show. While we didn't like the henshin device or the long ass henshin sequence, we think overall the show is in good hands. We have great actors, great chemistry between the two brothers. So let's see who's gonna play the villain. Yeah, let us know what you think of episode 1 for you guys who have seen it. So if you like what you see in Ultraman Droop and you think this is an awesome series and you want to get some merchandise, well, good news. I mean, the candy toys is already out. So currently today they have Ultraman Rosso, Ultraman Blue, and also Ultraman X in this series, and also some buildings for you to create a diorama for these guys fighting the monsters. So check out with your local toy stores to get this. It should be out in the toy stores by now.